Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and I'm here with the April colour combo. If you're not aware what that is, there is a playlist on my YouTube channel for all of the colour combos. Myself and Paula Keen in the Netherlands put together colour combinations based on subscriber requests, and then we launched them as kind of an inspirational thing to play around with for people to be part of, just to use maybe push themselves outside of their box. The event is run by a Facebook group called the Makers of Mixed Media Art and Artist Group. There'll be a link underneath. However, if you've seen this video, you can do it no matter what. Just have fun with it. So the colours this month are, and this is April 2024. The colour cream. Now, I don't have anything that says specifically the colour cream. So I've got this colour, which is beige, I believe. This is buttercream, and this is buff Titan. So, a Titan buff, as I would call it. The next colour is magenta. I've got permanent magenta, and I've actually got a magenta quinacridone acrylic ink. And then the last one is teal. I'm using Arteza. It says dark teal. It's got the word teal in it. That's as close as I've got. You're allowed to use white. You're allowed to use black. You're allowed to use a metallic. I'm going to use iridescent gold or rich gold iridescence. What is this actually called? Iridescence precious gold. This is called by Pebeo. These three are actually optional. Those have to be within the design you're doing anyway. So I did have a different project lined up for this, but the different project was going to be a bit longer, and it was probably going to be 3, maybe 4 videos long, but I'm already doing a 3 or 4 video long series this month anyway, so I decided to push that one back to next month, so you'll have something different off me then. So this month, I thought, right, I want to do postcards. Now what I've done is I've taken a 12 by 12, and I've literally just painted it, and I used all of these 3 colours, and I just mixed them up and painted this to take it away from the white that it started as. And what I'd like to do is I would like to do something completely not me. Let's just see if I can smooth this out a little bit. I've got an edge here that's curling. That's a bit better. I'm on a journey of trying to free myself up and finding ways to make me create differently, to add to my armory of the things I already do, not to dismiss a previous style and move on to something new. And what I thought is, I quite often, when I go to the art galleries and go to the National Museum of Wales and look at the art collections, I see modern art. I see abstract art. And I've always looked at it and go, sometimes I must admit, I look at it and go, what's so special about that? That's just dabs of paint on a wall, on a canvas, on a board, on a sculpture. And I happened to be in the gift shop, because I always walk through the gift shop because you never know whether there's something in there. And my eye caught on, they had a selection of abstract postcards. I thought, right, let's just work fast and loose and stick something down, cut it into postcards, maybe embellish them slightly with a bit of stamping, end of story, and just see what it looks like. So I could be setting myself up for a disaster, or I could be surprising myself. Now, I'm going to be using paints, obviously, and if I do use this, I'll use this acrylic ink. However, I'm going to need to dry things in between. So in between, I'm going to take pauses to dry things with a hairdryer, because you don't need to see a hairdryer moving. So I'm just going to come in and just do stuff. So I'm going to use numerous things, should we say. So I think I want to put white down first. So let's get some white out on here. And yes, this is my messy mat. So whatever goes on my messy mat is totally fine, because it's a messy mat. You should see the other side, I can tell you. Now I'm going to come in straight away, and I'm going to use door key, gift card, membership card, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just going to come in. Now immediately you can see I don't care whether I'm going in straight lines or diagonals. Right, that paint can stay there because I might use it for something else. Actually, I want a little bit more on the edge there, because I seem to have avoided the edges. And maybe a bit over there. So that's the start. Do I want to dry that? Yes, I probably do. I just want to take some of these lumpy bits off. I don't mind texture, obviously. However, I'd rather not have it here waiting for it to dry. So 2-second pause, back then after it's dry. So I think that's dry enough. It's not coming off my hand, it's dry enough. Now I'm looking for something that's kind of maybe like a pop art, sort of that sort of vibrant feel to it. Just, I don't know, I'll know it when I get there. So I think next I want to put on, let's put a bit of the gold. So this gold, only need a bit of it in the background. Anything that left over here just goes on to other pieces of art after I finish filming. So I'm just going to pull in a palette knife this time, and I'm going to do reasonably long sweeps. And yes, I'm going to stay and do the odd diagonal, which, as you know, is not something I normally do. And yeah, I've seen lots of art like this in art galleries and museums, and as I said, I must admit, I look at it and go, why is that in a museum? Why? And obviously, it's beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I'm in no way aligning myself with the thought that I'm as good as anyone in an art gallery or in a museum per se. I mean, that would be the ultimate. If you had a piece hanging in a museum, I'd be like, oh my goodness. Right, so I've got that on there. Need to dry this, 2 seconds again. So dry enough. I did scrape up this white and I'll put it on here so I can use it later. It's just, it was getting in my way there. Right, what do I want to do now? I think I want to put in some visual texture. Right, I've got this, I think this used to be a draw liner or a sticky mat or something. I had it in packaging, so as far as I'm concerned, it can be used in any way, shape or form. And I'm going to bring in my permanent magenta, not a lot. I've already discovered that I don't need very much at all for this. Just going to smear this out slightly, rest this in, and literally put it wherever it falls on here. And yeah, it looks like I'm placing it. I don't intend to. It just happens to be I don't want it to go basically off the mat unless it has to. Oh, and the odd thumbprint isn't, or fingerprint isn't going to hurt me either. Right, that's enough of that, I feel. Right, I'd quite like something else on here now. What do I need? Right, the only colour I don't really have now is the teal. So let's have a think how I want to do teal. I think I'm actually going to use my palette knife again. I quite like the palette knife idea. Let's bring the teal in. I think I'm running low on teal. Oh, the teal over my fingers now. I'm at that enviable point where I'm running low on certain paints, so it means I can have a little spending spree at some point. So there's one thing I find very intriguing about things like abstract or mixed media art, and that is that when I view it, it always makes me think. And I like that about art, when I actually have to think about it. That's got all grits in it. That is really annoying. I must have had a bit on the top of it that was top of the paint tube. Let's clear that off. I don't want to put grits on the rest of this. So yeah, so I like having to look into pieces of art. I like things that question my understanding of why it's there in the first place. Right, I'm going to come back in now, and I want to do some white. Let's just smear that out a bit. Right, where's that? Yeah. Right, bubble wrap time. Now I'm going to come over, put bubble wrap in, because that to me is more of like poster art, pop type stuff. So that's enough of that. Right, I've got all the colours here. I think I need to really up the ante on the magenta. Let's just scoop that up again. Now, need to pause, got to get this one dry. So here we are back again. I want to go in with more magenta, I feel. Just because I feel this needs it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some circles with my fingers. So I might run a bit up there as well because it looks like it needs it. And I kind of have a plan for those. So I'll put it there because I feel like I'm missing there. Right, let's get a bit of kitchen towel on that. Let's take that off there. It was only a little drop anyway. Now, this so far to me is just the background. I do want to now come in and add some more white on top, but I want to put it on in a textural fashion. So I'm going to grab myself a bit of magazine page, scrunch it up, unscrunch it, scrunch it up again, unscrunch it, and then make it into like a loose ball type situation. I'm going to put a little bit of white paint down. Don't need a lot, Griffiths, don't need a lot. I'm going to smear that out, just so I've actually got something I can pick up. And I'm just going to come in, I can't remember which way up this is supposed to be. I'm just going to pick these pieces up. Right, that's fine. Okay, need to dry this, and then I think we're on the home straight. There's one thing about this, it's quick. So I think that's as dry as I need. It's not coming off on my hands, which is fine. Is that a bit? No, it isn't. So let's just flatten this out a little bit. There you go. So liking where that's going at, obviously I need to add some drama. I was going to do some stamping on it, but actually I don't think I am. What I'm going to do, however, is I'm going to bring in a couple of Posca pens and I'm going to put something into it. So I'm going to use a really small one. What size is this? PC1-1MR, which is a 0.7 mil. Is it loaded? It is loaded. And I'm just going to put in something. It's what I call my fussy mark writing, or messy writing. Just to add a little something. I'm looking for areas that don't really have anything in them. Now this is going to be cut into 6x4 postcards, and I'm trying not to think of the divisions it will be when I'm working, do you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to visualize where those cuts are going to be because I keep turning it around. Now I do have gold, and I was going to put gold on here, but I'm not sure I want to now. What sort of color is the gold? See, the gold would kind of work. I wonder. Do some spirals on those areas I put the paint. The magenta. Okay, it's subtle. Miss that one out completely. The biggest one on the board, and I missed it out. Okay, make sure I've not got paint on the end of that. Then I've got another Posca. How big is this one? That's probably big enough. Right, this is the 1.3mm, which is PC3M. This is me being brave, guys. Okay, that made a scrawling mess of that, didn't it? So, right, the colours were cream. We've got cream in there, definitely. Magenta, definitely got magenta. Teal I've got in there as well. I've got black, I've got white, I've got the metallic in here as well. You can see the sheen if I tip it. So basically I've covered everything here. I would like something in these areas though. I've got, what is this, cream or beige? This is ivory. And I think I want to just do some mark making. But I'm trying to work quickly so I don't think about things too much, because that's one of my downfalls when it comes to art, is I overanalyze, I procrastinate, You may not think it when you watch me, but believe me, I do. I was going to, I don't know whether I've said this already, I was going to do some dramatic stamping on here as well, but you know what? I don't think I am now. I quite like that dash theme. Let's do a little bit of, actually, let's do crosses. Everyone does crosses. Let's do crosses. Not that I'm trying to be like everyone else, but crosses just make sense down here. It's sort of combining my doodling, actually, isn't it? Thinking about it. I wonder, on the end of each of these, whether I enhance them with... Ooh, that's a splodge and a half, wasn't it? Kitchen towel. So I guess that was me pressing too hard. Now, because that's acrylic paint underneath there, I should be able to just lift it off enough so that it's not noticed. There you go, and make sure this isn't blodging out anymore. I must have pressed down, my bad. My Poscas do that occasionally if I'm getting heavy-handed. Let's circle a couple of these. So I guess you could probably call this a doodling project. It certainly wasn't my intent to do a doodling project, but it kind of lent itself to the theme. Right, I think at this point I need to stop. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause you again. I'm sorry if you're sick of me pausing you, but it's art and I need to get some drying time in here. So I'm going to get this totally dry, clean the decks up, and then I'm going to bring in my guillotine and I'm going to cut this into postcards and we're going to call it done. And let's see whether what I've created is visually interesting. It may be complete and utter rubbish, or actually I may like it, or I may not like it, and you may like it. So art, as I said, is all in the eye of the beholder. Actually, this is really annoying me here. I think I'm going to come down with some white. Is this white or is this cream? This is white. And I'm going to put dots here. Don't ask me, I don't know. It just said to me that it needed dots. Yeah, I didn't like that defined line. Okay, again, stopping for 2 seconds, then I'll be back. I'll change the background as well. Maybe I'll just go to my tabletop at this point and get the paints out of the way, and then give this enough time to get it totally dry, and we can start cutting. I'm going to cut this blind, so I'm going to turn this around several times so I don't actually know which way is which. So I haven't thought about it. And let's see whether I've created something that's worth looking at. So let's make that 6. I do wish there was a 6 mark here. I know it is that line there, but I just sometimes wish there was a 6. I just want to make sure this is 6 as well. Yeah, that's near enough. Right, so 6 by 4 I said, didn't I? Right, I'm using 6 by 4 because I know that's what goes into my postcard album size. So it does mean that if I decide I want to keep these, then they will go in there. If not, they may go out as a happy mail. They may go out as the front for, I'm not sure that's 4, it is, might go out as a card front for a thank you card or a greetings card or just a card. Right. I must admit, it's a little nerve-wracking doing something like this with you guys watching, because literally I have no idea what I'm doing. I just throw the stuff down, and I don't know how it's going to turn out, but that's why my way of experimenting. As I said, I don't know whether I've made a mess. I don't know that I've made something that looks fantastic. I don't know whether I've made something that maybe I'll consider, oh, it needs something else. My intent is not. My intent is just to leave the magic of art happen for itself. So let's have a look, guys. Okay, I'm not upset at that. Feels it needs to go that way on. Actually, one second. Just so I commit to the design, I'm going to sign it in the orientation I think it should be. There you go. There's one. Okay, this looks a little muddy down here, but it's not. These remind me slightly of roses. That's up there. That looks like a signature, so I think I want to put my signature down here. Okay, that's 2. Oh, look, they match up. Let's not do that to myself, shall we? Let's pull that out of the way. Actually, let's shuffle these up a bit so that they're not in any specific order. Right, I like that. I do like that look, I must admit. That feels like it should be down the left-hand side. So there we go, that's that one signed off. I'm okay with these. Right, this definitely looks like it should need to be the bottom. Which I like the way that balances up. I think I'm just going to sign it. I know that looks like my signature already, but that's fine. That'll probably blend in with that. Okay, I like this one. It's more sparse. I quite like that happening there. I do like things weighted on this side, which makes me think I want to sign it there. And the last one, I think that's no brainer. To me, that they look like roses. That was not my intent, but they look like roses, so I want to sign that there. So there you go, guys. That's a little bit of an exercise in the abstract from me. I think I'm going to call that a success. So just to reiterate, this was the colour combo for April 2024. The colours were cream, magenta, and teal. You could add metallic, and as you can see, there is definitely metallic there. It was rich iridescent gold, I believe. You can add white and you can add black, and I did it. I think that was a success. I'll be happy when I've actually backed those and I've walked away and come back in a couple of days and looked at them, because I'll look at them more. But you know what? That just shows that you can throw something down, cut it up, and I wouldn't be offended if I received something like that through the post. It's unique and it's art. So, guys, I think that's me done for today. So, I'm Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter. Until next time, goodbye now.